How about those New York Knicks? Welcome on in, everybody. Yeah, you to dominate the NBA. They took care of business in Toronto in the NBA Cup semifinals, and now they have advanced to Vegas to the semifinals. Oh, baby. I'm excited, man. The Knicks had an opportunity to let the world know that they run the East last night on prime time basketball, and they took care of business. It was a good, entertaining first quarter, but then the New York Knicks completely obliterate the Toronto Raptors in the second, third, and fourth quarter, and they beat them with the final score of, I think, like 117 to something, 101 or something like that. Jaylen Brunson continues his dominance. Are you kidding me? So shout out to these Knicks, man, because what I am seeing from the Knicks right now is something special. And there is one thing that the Knicks have changed that has changed everything. Absolutely everything is different now. And you may ask, what is that thing that the New York Knicks have changed? It is indeed Josh Hart being in the starting five. How about that? Josh Hart, when he came in the game as the starter, when there was a lot of injuries, the coaching staff kept telling Mike Brown, you cannot take Josh Hart out. Josh Hart's the guy. Do not take him out of the starting five. And when Mitchell Robinson got back healthy and all the other guys got back healthy, Mike Brown listened to the coaching staff, and he's like, you know what? You're right. Josh Hart's not leaving. The Knicks, I believe, are like 9-1 since Josh Hart's been inserted into the starting five. He's playing out of his mind. We know what JB's capable of. 35, 4 assists, 3 boards, an efficient 13 of 19. Oh, he's a free throw merchant. 4 free throws out of 35 points. Missed me with that. So welcome on in, everybody. Smash the thumbs up button. We got my boy Tyler Ward, a.k.a. Wardy NYM in the chat. Go, New York. Go, New York. Go. My man's out here grinding on the hot stove of baseball season. If you guys are Mets fans, go check out Wardy NYM as we mourn the loss of Edwin Diaz. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get upset. See what not going to lie, Wardy, you brought my high down. Not because seeing your face, I love you, but the Mets, they're not making me feel good right now. That's all I'm going to say about that. Eric says, let's go, Knicks. You know it. Let's go. The Miami Heat suck again. The worst soldier comeback. Hey, yeah, the Orlando Magic advance, which we will be talking about all throughout the week. The Knicks are taking on the Orlando Magic on Saturday in Vegas. In Vegas, man. I'm excited for that. My bad. Don't blame you at all. I'm just messing around with you, brother. I'm not going to lie, though. Those Mets driving me mad. But it's all good because we got those New York Knicks representing, baby. Now, let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to make a poll in the chat. Do you value these NBA Cup games? Do you value the NBA Cup? Like, do you care more about that win? Do you want the Knicks to win the NBA Cup? Or you're like, nah, it's just another game. Yes, go win it all. Because how cool would it be? You know, the weird thing about this is going to be a big test. I'm going to find it hard to believe that the team that's going to be representing the West in the NBA Cup is not the Oklahoma City Thunder. You never know. The Lakers could do it. Maybe the Suns advance tonight. The Spurs. Those are the 4 teams. But I think it'll be a great test. If the Knicks can beat the Magic on Saturday and get to the NBA Cup final and go up against one of the better teams in the West, that'll be the big test for the Knicks. No, it is not a big deal. All right, let your voice be heard in the poll because some people, and the people that care the most, I think, about the NBA Cup are the players. You know, they're playing for something. They're playing for money. They're playing for cash because there's a bunch of incentives built in to this Knicks team if they keep winning in the NBA Cup, which I absolutely love. So you guys let your voice be heard in the chat. Do you care about the NBA Cup or nah, not really a big deal? As the New York Knicks are slowly and surely making their way up the standings in the NBA Eastern Conference. The cool thing about it is I believe the Knicks are now, where are they at in the standings? They're still the 2nd seed, but they are definitely getting closer and closer to those Detroit Pistons. The Pistons have won their last 2 games, but the Knicks right now are 17-7, 2 games back from the first seed. And the Boston Celtics, when you thought they'd be done this season, nope, they're red hot. 5 in a row for the Celtics. They've won, all right, and we saw them beat the Knicks a few weeks ago. They're 15-9. The Magic, who the Knicks will be taking on, who felt like the Achilles heel, the kryptonite of the Knicks for a long time, but the Knicks were able to beat them over this past weekend. So very interested to see how the Knicks stack up in Vegas. You know, the next time we will see these Knicks will not be until Saturday. So we got 3 days of no Knicks basketball. 3 days off they got as they prepare their travels for those Orlando Magic. Now, the cool thing about this Knicks basketball team, man, is like watching them go out there and execute like that. Let's just start off with Jaylen Brunson. I don't want to take this guy for granted. This guy is an absolute monster, dude. When the pressure gets higher, when there's any type of inkling of a playoff energy, Jaylen Brunson answers the bell. I mean, the guy went scorched earth in the first quarter. Brandon Ingram tried to match him, but you can't keep up with JB. And the cool thing I'm seeing on X recently is they're finally starting to realize across the NBA world that Jaylen Brunson is that dude. Because they try to push this false narrative that Jaylen Brunson's a foul merchant and he's a flopper. And, bro, he's a pure baller. If you're a fan of basketball and you watch Jaylen Brunson execute at the level that he's executing and you think that he's not playing ethical hoops, as the kids say, I mean, you're just a pure hater, bro. This is a hooper that levels up his game to the highest level when it's needed the most. Hitting crazy shots, efficiency, and that's why our guy, Jaylen Brunson, won Clutch Player of the Year last season, man. He's our guy. He is the engine of the Knicks. And when you have the role players around him executing at the level that they're executing, I mean, man, they just move so freely out there. They move so freely out there. Got to give a shout out to Karl Anthony Towns. He did not have a great game offensively, but what he did have is a monster dunk, had a plus minus of a plus 21, which led the New York Knicks, and crashed those rebounds, which is much needed. 14 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 blocks. The Knicks were playing really good defense as well. And the one thing about the Raptors that they do have is a very good defense. Now, I understand the Raptors don't have their guys of Emmanuel Quickley. They don't have their guys of RJ Barrett, which used to be our guys, by the way. But I'm not making no injury excuse, bro. You got to go out there and execute. And the Knicks were able to do just that, bro. So shout out to these New York Knicks getting the W over the Raptors in the NBA Cup, advancing to the semifinals. Sound off in the comments right now. Hit that thumbs up button as your New York Knicks advance to 17-7 on the season after absolutely cruising. Another player that deserves some love after last night that has been just so consistent this year, bro. So consistent. That's what I'm going to call him, man. That's my new nickname for this guy. Mr. Consistent. Can anybody in the chat guess which player I am talking about that I'm about to refer to when I say Mr. Consistent? Every single game, he is playing great basketball, doing his job, impacting winning, hitting his shots, efficient. Does anybody know in the chat which player I am alluding to? Which player am I referencing that has just been an absolute consistent beast this season that has been a joy to watch? Reliable. I'll give you his line last night. 15 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. The guy is as consistent as you can imagine. His name is Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges deserves the love of Knicks fans. 100%, bro. He's out here balling, averaging 16.4 points per game, shooting 52.5% from the field, 41% from beyond the arc, bro. Averaging 2 steals and a block per game. Mikal Bridges is absolutely having a fantastic season that is getting swept underneath the rug because there's so many guys in the Knicks to love outside of JB, Cat. You got Bridges, OG Anunoby's making his return, getting back from that hamstring injury. We know what Josh Hart's capable of. Even without Deuce McBride, you still feel the presence of the Knicks off the bench. It's really unbelievable. And then, of course, you got to talk about Josh Hart. What Josh Hart is doing these past few games has been absolutely unbelievable, man. He is on the best tear, I think, of his entire NBA career. For sure. I mean, look at his numbers in the last 10, 15 games. If you go back to last week, November 26th against the Hornets, 22 points, 19 points, 20 points, 19, 15, 8, 17, 21. Whew, I remember Knicks fans were telling me earlier on this season they should get rid of Josh Hart, trade him. He's a bum. I'm like, bro, Josh Hart is everything to this Knicks basketball team. And ever since he's replaced Mitchell Robinson in the starting five, he has absolutely taken it and ran with it to the point where the Knicks have no choice but to keep him in the starting lineup. 100%. Folks, if you're enjoying the show, do me a favor. Simply hit the thumbs up button on your way into the show. We're live here on YouTube and on X. So do me a solid favor by hitting that thumbs up button. Does a really good thing for the YouTube algorithm by propelling this one out to YouTube. So make sure you guys smash the like button if you did not already on your way into the show. Would greatly appreciate that, folks. Would greatly appreciate that. Track in the chat. The NBA should review the CBA as it relates to the NBA playoffs revenue prize money. Yeah, I mean, the NBA Cup has prize money involved, and that's what the Knicks are fighting for right now. They're fighting for those extra cash in the NBA Cup. But I'm just never going to take this Knicks team playing this level of basketball for granted, bro. Like, they are playing team ball, playing together, playing in unison, understanding each other's tendencies. And that's the cool thing about these Knicks. The chemistry is just getting better and better and better at each and every single game, bro. Each and every game. And then, of course, you got to add in the Giannis situation, which is just going to be a cloud over our heads for how long? I mean, when are we going to get a solution with that? The Giannis situation is tiring because I just want an answer. I want to know if he's going to be a Knick or not, because I'm falling in love with this team without him to the point where I'm like, well, do we even need Giannis? Because at this stage, it feels like we don't. But just like we have to stay even-keeled during the lows, we got to stay even-keeled during the highs, bro. Just because the Knicks are scorching hot right now does not mean there's not another lull on the horizon. And that's what basketball is all about. There's highs and lows, but how can they learn from their mistakes and figure out how to play their best brand of basketball consistently? And that's what the Knicks have been doing as of late. We got a super chat from my man Fugazi in the chat. If you guys could do me a favor, hit the like button on my man's super chat and comment on his super chat as well. Hope the Knicks don't do a 3-1 trade. Don't want the depth depleted, especially if it includes Deuce. Giannis needs to ask out for us to have leverage. I think we have leverage, Fugazi. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I think that Giannis already asked out. I mean, he literally asked out in August. Didn't materialize. Now the Bucks are losing. He's going to want out. I believe the Knicks have leverage. And I don't think it would be a 3-for-1 trade. It would be a 3-for-2 trade. I think the Bucks would add another player in it to make the finances work. I don't know who that player was. Remember the report that we talked about earlier on in the week that Kyle Kuzma was the other player that was involved in the trade. Not saying I want him or anything, but that's just what we've seen so far in terms of what the package looks like. Shout out to Fugazi in the chat for the $5 super chat. But it's cool to see these Knicks go out there and dominate the NBA Cup. Now, the Orlando Magic are a team that the Knicks are going to have to be on their A game. They're without Franz Wagner, who got injured against the Knicks on Sunday. But I do believe that the Knicks have what it takes to go to the finals in the NBA Cup. I'm down for it. Who do you guys got in the West tonight? Who do you guys got coming out of the West in the NBA Cup? You got, I believe the matchups are the Suns and Thunder, Lakers, Spurs. I think it's going to be Thunder and the Lakers win tonight. And then it's going to be Thunder, Lakers in the semifinal. I don't know, man. The NBA's got me hooked. I'm not going to lie. I think the NBA is cooking with this NBA Cup. That's just me. I know some people don't give a crap about it. I mean, especially the old heads. You know, my uncle texted me a few weeks ago. He's like, I don't give a crap about the NBA Cup. I just thought it was hilarious. You know, some people are like, what is this cup with these red courts? I mean, the red court's disgusting. I'm not going to lie. Why are we doing this? Why are we ruining the league? But I guess in my eyes, it adds more competition during the regular season because the NBA understands that they need these fans, us, engaged at this stage of the season. And the NBA Cup adds more flavor, adds more competition. And it's because sometimes around this stage of the NBA regular season where it's December, it's like there's not really much to be looking for because basketball levels up in the NBA March and April, and then, of course, playoff time. This time, early on in the season, it's like you can be flirting around 500 and it won't even matter because as long as you get hot when it matters the most. So that's why I think the NBA Cup is a smart thing by the NBA business-wise to add more spaz, add more interest in these types of games. And it creates a playoff atmosphere. It really does. And the proof of this working is seeing Jaylen Brunson play like this in the NBA Cup because this is we got playoff JB tonight or last night. We literally got playoff Jaylen Brunson. And I missed play. And it's not like he hasn't been playing playoff level JB all season, but in a game that matters where it's like you lose, you're eliminated from the tournament, I'm happy that the Knicks are playing this. And this is the farthest they've ever gone in the NBA Cup, by the way, since it got implemented. I think, was this the third year of the NBA Cup, chat? I think so. The Knicks have never got to the semifinals. The Knicks have never got to the semifinals, so I think it's pretty awesome. I would like to see Knicks versus OKC in the Cup finals as a preview to the NBA finals. That's why I like it. Would be cool to see Lakers versus Knicks in the finals. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Lakers, Knicks, OKC. That's why I like it. Like, have the Knicks faced off against? They had a West Coast trip earlier in the season, but like they barely faced off against much West Coast teams. I mean, bro, I like this Knicks team against anybody in the East, bro. Even the Pistons. The Knicks haven't even versed the Pistons yet this year, right? I mean, I got respect for the Pistons. They definitely are a team on the rise. They're a team that you can't just, pretend they're not a good team. But I like the Knicks' chances to come out of the East this year. We all did heading into the season. They're getting hot right now. But the big question, of course, is going to be, are the Knicks actually going to trade for Giannis or not? The one thing I will say about the NBA Cup, I don't know if that's just me, but I don't remember who won the NBA Cup the last 2 years. That's where I feel like maybe the NBA Cup doesn't really matter. Or maybe I'm just not as interested when the Knicks get eliminated. Like, who won the NBA Cup the last 2 years? Didn't the Lakers win it, I think, the first year? Maybe I'm remembering. Did the Pacers win it? I don't know. I'm trying to remember who won the NBA Cup the last 2 years. Or the Thunder. Did the Thunder win? The Bucks and the Lakers. I remember the Lakers won it the first year. I know the Bucks beat us last year in the NBA Cup. But I don't know. Interesting stuff. Interesting. All right. But the Knicks take care of business against the Raptors and a lot of other things happening around the NBA. I mean, can we talk about the Knicks' historic run at Madison Square Garden real quick, folks? Because what they are doing at home is an absolute... I know last night's game was in Toronto, but the Knicks are 13-1 at home, and I don't want that to just be like, yeah, business as usual. That's crazy. That's the best home start since 1992, by the way. 1992. It's been that long since the Knicks have been this good at home to start off a season. So that's something to keep in mind. Folks, if you're tuning into the show for the first time, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. Appreciate you guys tuning into this show, as always. And without Deuce didn't really feel like we missed him. Love my guy Deuce, but Didn't really feel like we missed out on Deuce McBride much. And that's the power of the Knicks this season. Right there. The power of the Knicks is that we don't even need a bunch of our guys. Like when we have players injured, other guys step up. And the cool thing about the injuries, there are some positives underlying within the injuries. One big positive is Josh Hart. Without the injuries, Josh Hart wouldn't have been given an opportunity to be a starter. And now look what he's done. So that's the blessing in disguise when it comes to that, which I absolutely love. Got to give the credit where it's due. Got to give a big shout out to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of Knicks Media. If you guys want to check out Sleeper Picks, make sure you do so. You guys get a 100% deposit match up to $100 by using my code Knicks, baby. If you want to use the code, you will get a 100% deposit match. Win up to $100. Win up to 100x your parlay. So you basically go over to Sleeper, build a ridiculous parlay, more or less. You guys can do it tonight for the NBA Cup for the West. Pick more or less on any statistic: points, assists, rebounds, combined points and assist rebounds, steals even, and build your parlay. Win up to 100x your money. You guys can get $100 to match up to $100. So basically you put $100 down and then you use the code Knicks. You get a free $100. So big shout out to Sleeper, as always, being a proud sponsor of the channel. Cannot thank them enough for being a proud sponsor of the channel. Much love to Sleeper, as always. If you guys are not already, smash the thumbs up button. We're live here on Knicks Media talking about the game last night. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section, as always. So the Bucks beat the Thunder last year in the Cup. I remember the Bucks beat us to get there. But it's going to be an interesting test for the Knicks going up against the Orlando Magic. Is Desmond Bane going to throw a pass off of OG Anunoby's ribs again? I think he learned his lesson there. At least I hope he did. Who knows? You never know. You never know. Exciting stuff, though, across the New York Knicks world as the Knicks take on the Orlando Magic. Now, 3 days off. What are we even going to talk about? 3 days of rest for the Knicks, which I think is very much needed. Maybe Deuce can be healthy by the game. Who knows? But I also think the trip to Vegas could be beneficial for the Knicks because when you travel together, it's good for chemistry, which is great. Last year, the Hawks beat us, not the Bucks. Did the Bucks beat us the first year? Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. I know the Bucks beat us 1 year in the Cup. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. Who knows? Thank you for the correction, my friend. But I think that the trip to Vegas could be a positive one for the Knicks, not just for basketball purposes, but chemistry purposes, the coaching staff getting closer together because they got to go on a little field trip to Las Vegas. Is anybody going to go to Vegas for the game? I wish I could, but I can't. I will not be there. I will not be there. Folks, if you're just tuning into the show for the first time, welcome on in. My name is Richie Malora. We're live here on Knicks Media talking about the Knicks' dominance in the NBA Cup last night against the Toronto Raptors. 117-101 was the final score. The Knicks completely dominated the Raptors in the second, third, and fourth quarter. The first quarter was a very entertaining one. 39-35 the score was after the first quarter by the Raptors, by the way. But Jaylen Brunson had, 20 points in the first half total? Had a ridiculous amount of points in the first quarter. And then he finished the game with 35, 4 assists, 3 boards, an efficient night. Playoff JB is here, folks. And it's cool to see the playoff version of Jaylen Brunson come alive at this stage of the season. He understands what's at stake. Shout out to the entire Knicks organization for getting the job done. And Mike Brown, man, what a different energy we have at the coach position, folks. Let's not forget that the starting 5 that's on the court right now is the same one that Tom Thibodeau ran with, and they had the worst ratings in the NBA with this starting 5. But the same starting 5 now working with Bridges, Brunson, Hart. Anunoby and Cat, I mean, the ratings are off the chart. And I think a lot of it has to do with the system, the philosophy, reading each other, not relying on a rigid system. It's more of an open, fluid system. That's the big difference between Thibodeau and Mike Brown. Allowing there to be more off-ball movement, reading each other, read and react, instead of there just being a set type of play. It's more of a flow state that the Knicks are tapping into. And when you have talent like the Knicks have, whew, all bets are off. All bets are off, man. So shout out to everybody tuning into the show. Nelson's in the chat. Hey, Richie, what's going on? Have you checked how many home games are we playing this season? The Knicks play, well, not just the Knicks, but every team plays the same amount of home games. 41 home games every year, and then 41 road games. There's 82 games in a season. You divide that in half. I'm pretty sure it's always been that way. 41 games at home, 41 games on the road for every team in the NBA. That's always what it's been. But the Knicks are like the best team in the NBA at home. I mean, maybe not the best because the Thunder haven't lost a game yet at home. So you got to give them their credit. But the Knicks' historic run in MSG has been absolutely off the charts. You talk about being 13-1. They finally defend home court, man. It's been a long time since the Knicks have been this dominant at home. And last night was in Toronto. And earlier on in the season, remember, the Knicks could not get a road win. They were like 0-3 on the road, 5-0 at home. We're like, what's going on? What's going on, man? But it's a good thing, man. It's a great thing to see this Knicks team go out there and play the way that they're playing. You thought it was 40? Maybe it's 40. I don't know. I thought it was 41. 41 at home, 41 on the road. Or maybe they changed it because the weird thing about the scheduling is the NBA Cup games, they kind of change the schedule around to make it work. So maybe it is 40. Regardless, 40 games at home, 41 games at home, point still stands. Yeah, actually, I think the NBA Cup switched up the whole scheduling now that I remember because they have to adjust the scheduling because this game, Knicks and Raptors, was not on the schedule entering the season. So now they have to change things around. So the Knicks had to play an extra away game. And then also the game in Vegas, that's a neutral site. So like no one's technically home in that game. So I guess since the NBA Cup was implemented, it's different, which totally makes sense. But, folks, do you guys enjoy the live streams here on the channel? I'm going to start implementing them a little bit more here on Knicks Media. If you guys enjoy the lives, let me know. Hit the like button because I'll definitely start doing these more often because I think being interactive with the chat and talking to you guys in a live matter is important. And I definitely am going to be prioritizing this channel moving forward with Jets season coming to an end soon. As you guys know, I'm a content creator for the Jets as well on Jets Media. And it's hard to balance them both, but I enjoy doing it. And I think that with the Jets season coming to an end, I can finally start leveling up the Knicks content and doing it way more consistent, more lives, more videos, more content overall. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more content here on the channel. I think the lives are great. Maybe we can even do some call-in shows. Maybe we can find a certain time of day we're live every single day, Monday through Friday, so you guys can get used to the boy being live. Say, oh, it's this time, Knicks Media is live. If you guys want to see more lives, hit the thumbs up button so I know you are interested in being here more often for the live streams. All right? Let me know right now if that is of interest to you. Maybe we can start doing the live watch parties more often too, which I haven't done since the opener, but we shall see. We're going to wrap it up here, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Knicks Media Live. The Knicks take care of business against the Toronto Raptors. It seems like the chat wants more live, so that we'll bring it, baby. Josh wants more. Eric wants more. We'll bring it. We'll bring it more lives for you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Knicks Media. I will see you guys later. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. See you next time, folks. Peace.